Okay, we're here, week 14 or 15. I'm losing count with the double episode. So now, like, our week count is not our episode count, but that's okay.
I'm definitely rusty on what week it is after the last 2 weeks.
It's
So I'll just
another
go with I'll go with your word.
week 415. We'll just mumble it. I've missed you, Brett.
Missed you, but what an episode we had the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the draft was a lot of fun. It got the people talking, as drafts do.
More to come in the future.
Yeah, I definitely want to do more of that format. We have a lot of albums to talk about. A lot of albums.
3 weeks worth.
Yeah, so I think we have like 9 we want to mention.
Is it really 9? It is 9. Holy shit.
It's not, and that's not counting Weezer because we had a
10 total on this podcast.
Reoccurring guest Nick Parco came back as he promised after the spring EP to come back in the summer. So he came back. So Weezer will be our interview with Nick. But yeah, so what I did was, since we have 9 albums to talk about, I numbered them all and I grabbed one of my D&D dice. So I'm gonna roll it, and whatever number it lands on is where we'll start.
That's a great strategy. We didn't even plan this. Like, this is on the spot that I'm finding this out.
It was too many to pick, and I have so many thoughts that I wouldn't know where to start. So the only thing is, this one's a 12-sided die, and we have 9. So if it's 10, 11, or 12, I don't know. Do you want to think of something random?
I guess anything that's not 9.
It's 10 or 11, 12. We'll talk about a Blink album.
We'll talk about the Blink at the Colorado Avalanche game.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was awesome.
All right, let's roll the dice. Well, that's second half of the show. Chat. A 5. So that is Bartees Strange, Farm to Table.
It's a good one to start with.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. You told me to listen to this.
I did.
I had not heard of. Is it him or is it a band?
It's a him.
Okay, yeah, because that's like a reoccurring question I have for a couple of these artists this week. Yeah. This was a really cool album. It was different than what I was expecting. I'll let you go into it a little, since I kind of just gave it like a listen off the cuff, but I did enjoy it. I'll say that much.
I remember in 2020 he put out was it his first album? I have to double check real quick. I'm pretty sure it was his first album, but I knew like this was a very highly anticipated album because like he blew up when he put out Live Forever in 2020.
Yeah.
I believe it was his first album. Yeah.
Sophomore album.
Oh, that's a sophomore album?
No, that was his first. This is his, yeah.
Yeah. But to follow that one up with like just exploding right off the bat of your debut, and to put something out like this, like it was just, well, first of all, it was hard for me to get through the whole album because I kept hitting repeat on Heavy Heart. I think that might be like one of the best songs released in 2022 so far. Like the lyrics are deep, the musicianship is great. There's like a horn section. Like I couldn't get over that one song, but then like you let the rest of the album play and it's just as good, but like that song is just on a whole other level.
It has like amazing build, and then the drums are like really cool. Like I noticed that on a few of the albums this week where the drums kind of do this like building drum roll that like repeats. I don't know. It's just different than like a standard like do do ch do do ch. I don't know.
I'm all about the build though. I think that's probably what really hooked me in too. I'm a sucker for the songs that build up.
Yeah. Especially as an album opener, like, and then the horns come in. Like, this album has it just kept like making me like double take on so many of these songs, because I just, especially not knowing like anything about him or his music, so I was like most impressed by just like the diversity between songs. Like I think it was the second song, Mulholland Drive. Like it almost reminded me of like a foxing song, like instrumentally.
It was like a foxing song. That's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
It had like that cool, like noodly guitar almost. And then like one of them, Was he like almost rapping on one of them? Like there was just so much. I don't know if it was rapping, but just like the vocal styles between songs. I wish I took more notes on this because it, yeah, like Cosigns has more of like
That's right. Yeah.
almost like
Okay.
a hip hop feel to it. Like it's just such a like musically diverse album. It was I was super impressed with it.
Like he really got to flex his muscles on this one. Like Live Forever itself was a great album. Like I'm always gonna like link that album with COVID because that was like something I remember listening to in quarantine. But like he just somehow like I need to see him live. I feel like to truly appreciate a lot of these songs, even though they sound phenomenal, like recorded. But I don't know, just Barty Strange. I'm getting to become like a bigger and bigger fan, like with each release, it seems.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to Live Forever. And he has a live album out too, live at Studio 4. So
Oh, so there we go. So I can listen to the live version.
yeah.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it came out before this one, so I guess it would just be his first album, unless there was maybe like a single he worked in. I don't know. It doesn't look like it, but
Not that many plays on it, surprisingly. So I guess not a lot of people know it's on Spotify.
the live album.
Yeah, the live at Studio 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's on the lesser side. But yeah, I definitely want to revisit this because this week there we had a lot to listen to, so it was kind of hard to like sit on albums a lot.
That was the
Um,
challenge, I think. That's why like I probably should have taken better notes than I did, but there was just so much going on and so many songs going through my head.
yeah, yeah, it was a lot of music this week, but I had a great time preparing. Um, all right, should we go on to the next one?
Let's
Should we
do
roll the
it.
dice?
Roll the dice
All
again.
right. 8. Coheed. Coheed and Cambria. I want to get the album name just right. Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. So, full disclosure on my Coheed listening, I am not up to date on Coheed's discography. And I was always a singles guy when it came to Coheed. Like growing up,
Oh, you're
I
missing
had like
out.
I had like I probably am, but I had like 10 to 12 songs that I really liked. And I just kind of sat on those and had my little playlist and that was it. So this was the first Coheed album that I've really like dove fully into. And I had a lot of fun with it, especially because like I'm super into like sci-fi fantasy. So it took me like I went to the Coheed wiki and I started reading all about it. So like um Vaxis is like their son, the characters, who I guess are like loosely based on Claudio and his wife, is it Chandra Eckbert? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
And they're Coheed and Cambria.
they are.
Is that Vaxis's parents?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
well, yeah, no, in the what's it called? The lore. It's Nia, who is Sister Spider, and Nostrand, who is the creature, and Vaxis is their son. But I think it's all like loosely based, like he has their family in mind in real life,
Okay.
IRL. And so I did like a little summary just so we can know the setting for this space adventure.
This
there,
Space Odyssey.
so there was this like great crash after the events of No World for Tomorrow, which is an album, correct? It's
Yep.
also a
It's
song. Yeah,
great album.
yeah. There, I don't remember exactly what was off that, but I remember that album. That one's been out for like a while. I feel
I
like.
think Feathers was on
Uh,
that. No World for
Damn,
Tomorrow.
I forgot about
Self-titled song.
Feathers. That was one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was this event called the Great Crash after No World for Tomorrow, and certain planets were made into prison planets. And the first Vaxis album, but I don't think there's a Vaxis one. I was looking. So I don't know if it's just the first album that talks about Vaxis, but it tells the tale of these two new characters who I mentioned before, Nia and Nostrand, Sister Spider, creature. as they struggle with being imprisoned in the dark sentencer and fight to secure the safety of their unborn son, Vaxis. So that's kind of the
That's the
loose
backdrop.
that's the loose backdrop for this album.
I really need to dig into the story and like learn it more because I feel just like as big of a fan of the band as I am, I really like know nothing about the story. I know like the Armory Wars are pretty much what it is, but I get so lost in the music itself that like I'm not really paying attention to the lyrics half the time, even though the lyrics like he knows how to write a chorus like better than some like pop artists do.
Yeah.
So those I know, but the stories that go along with the choruses, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's like comic books and like all this extra stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
There are comics, which I do want to read one day so I can finally understand what's going on in these albums.
But yeah, musically, like I was super into this album. Comatose was like so good. The drums on that were just absolutely insane. Like their drummer, Josh Epart, whatever.
But he kills it throughout this entire album.
Yeah, like I'm not a drummer. And drums stood out to me like big time. So I could only imagine if you play the instrument how much more you can appreciate it. But the drums on this whole album were absolutely incredible.
Oh, fun fact. So Vaxis 1 was the album before this, The Unheavenly Creatures, but in Spotify it's not called Vaxis 1.
Damn Spotify messing up the lore.
But
Okay.
friend of the pod, Adam Grundy, had a really great great album review about this album up on Chorus. And he actually got like retweeted by the band because I feel like he just hit the point, hit the point on the head, hit the nail on the head with what this album is. So he says, I'll just read the line real quick. He goes, while making an effort to expand upon the universe created in the Armory Wars story arc, Coheed have simultaneously made their best album in quite some time that demands your immediate attention.
Wow.
Their dense stories about space odysseys and prog-tinged rock may have been a bit intimidating for casual fans to fully immerse themselves in. Luckily for fans who are willing to give Coheed another shot, Vaxis 2 is easily their most accessible set of songs in the past decade and would be a perfect relaunching point to dive back into the world that this band has created. Well said, Adam.
Yeah, way to go, Adam. We gotta tweet that article out so people can find it if they're listening. But
the band tweeted it out, but
oh, that's awesome.
They haven't checked their DMs in a while though.
Hello.
I'm still sitting on sent. We're trying.
Yeah, he made a good point because it can be intimidating, especially with the big discography.
Oh,
then you throw like a backstory into it, and it's like, forget it. But don't forget it.
No.
Give it a shot for sure. There were so many good ones on this album. Badman was like, it was super cool. It was like slightly different tempo than the other songs and had like these really cool vocal effects on it. And then there was a solo behind the chorus, which I just like. Like there was a lot going on, but I don't think it sounded like muddy or anything. It was just a lot going on, but they made it work. And
they can shred.
Yeah. And there's a line in it that just says evil is as evil do, which just makes me think of like an evil Forrest Gump.
Now that's all I'm going to think of now when I hear that part.
Forrest Gump is Vaxis. It's played by Tom Hanks.
They ever make it into a movie, why not?
And then Ladders of Supremacy, I just wrote, holy shit.
Yeah.
They
go right into Cut the Cord.
Yeah. Like the last three on this album, like can stand alone as like its own thing almost. Like it really, because one of my small like problems, whatever you want to say, critiques of the album was for like a rock opera, essentially, I kind of wanted the songs to flow together a little better. Like the first goes into the second, but then that's kind of it for a while. But then the last three all like make up one big one. So that's cool, obviously. But yeah, the last three, like if you were gonna listen to only some of this album, listen to Comatose, because that song shreds. and then listen to just the last three in a row. Like Windows of the Waking Mind feels like a miniature like movie experience.
Oh, it's huge.
It's so cool.
And that's
I,
like your more typical Coheed song. Like normally they make songs that are like 8 or 9 minutes long. Like this album really didn't really have that. But again, it's like a great point for fans that don't really listen to the or people that don't really listen to the band to like jump in and kind of see what they're all about.
yeah. Yeah, this was definitely the proggiest Windows of the Waking Mind, the last one. Um, it's so like they could do a whole album like that, and I would be pretty happy with it.
Got to dive into their back stuff. They do have a lot of proggy stuff in the
All
earlier
right.
on.
Yeah, I definitely have to find it. Like it just like it felt like a little cinematic experience. Had like time changes and like there was like a uh, I just wrote down like the da 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 at the end, but like I can't think of how it goes right now.
You did listen to a lot of music, so
Yeah, I can't find it. But and then there's like a minute left to the song slash the album. And like this like huge like uplifting strings part comes in that almost feels like something's about to start. So I don't know if this is gonna flow pretty nicely into whatever they have planned next.
it could. That's how they
But
started this one because Embers of Fire is like the instrumentation is from a song on Unheavenly Creatures.
uh interesting. I
Like it
have to go back.
was,
It was a shame this week because like I got into a lot of these albums and it made me want to listen to previous albums to do like proper homework. And I just like there's only so many hours in the
that was the
day.
problem. I think
But
Old Flames was the song on the last album.
Old Flames. All right, I'll check that out. I'll check the whole album out now because I don't think we'll have 9 albums to listen to next week.
No, be a little easier next week.
Yeah.
But last note from me here is Beautiful Losers. Like I listened to this album for the first time like Friday driving, and I was just like beaming because like if we were doing a draft of like bands that have like the best album openers, like I would probably take Coheed as one of my picks. Like they just know how to open an album. And if you were making a playlist, I'm pretty sure it would have to include like every first song on all of their albums because they just know how to kick you in the face like right off the bat. And it's just I don't know, like I can't even describe it. Like I was just sitting there so happy that like I had a new Coheed album and like that it was delivering
Yeah.
like I already had like high expectations and it somehow blew them away.
I know that exact feeling because you're excited for an album and then you're nervous because you want to like it. And when the
Yep.
first song is good, it sets the tone so nicely and it just gives you so much hope. And this album in general kind of gives hope in like
It
it's
does.
in the nature of the song. So it was a nice combo. I don't know if you were doing a draft, if technically this isn't the opener because the first song is like an intro thing.
Fair. Although it bleeds into track two.
Yeah,
So
I would
we have to
count
set
it
some
as an
rules
opener.
there. But
Yeah, I think if the pre-existing track is under 2 minutes and leads into it, then
okay, so
second
I have
to
to take
go.
that back then. I feel like most of them are track twos with Coheed because they do have like an
Oh.
intro track usually that bleeds into something.
That would be the weirdest topic for a draft. The best second songs on albums.
The best lead-ins.
Oh, All Killer No Filler would be up there for me.
That is a great one.
All right,
The intro draft.
let's roll again. Yeah. We gotta just get the playlist wars guys on and then do all these
Soon.
ideas with them.
Soon.
All right, here we go. Here we go. We're rolling. We're rolling. That's a 10. So Enemo State's pretty great. 5 we already did. 10 again. 3. Rise Against. Nowhere Generation 2. EP. I love Rise Against.
They don't miss.
So
They really
much.
don't.
They might be my favorite band in like the whole world. Minus Fish. Fish is separate. Separate entity.
Do you kind of wish this was a part of the original Nowhere Generation?
Yeah, so
Or do you think it's good that they get this part two kind of?
you'd have to think about what songs from the original you'd prefer to be off, and then which ones from here you'd want to replace. And I don't know if I'm at liberty to make that call because I really liked Nowhere Generation. So I can't think of any songs like,
Yeah, I don't know what I'd cut now that I'm looking at it.
yeah, there's nothing on there that I wasn't like psyched about. Um, but Pain Management off this EP was really good. Like it, I don't know how that didn't make the album as just like a 12 track or what. Like I'd love to hear their reasoning behind what made it and what got cut. And then I don't know, is there more that didn't make the EP?
Yeah,
Is there going to be Nowhere Generation 2.5 or something?
like how you feel about Pain Management is how I feel about The Answer.
Yeah.
Like I could have seen like that opening the original Nowhere Generation,
Yeah.
even though I'm
it's
pretty
a,
sure they had a great opener to the
yeah.
original.
The numbers is
The
pretty,
number, yeah.
pretty
Okay,
solid.
so maybe I take that back. back to the
um,
back to the track 2 conversation.
um, this had so many good, like, I really went into the lyrics on this one because I think that's what sets Rise Against apart from other bands. Is not only are they incredible musicians, but the lyrics are just out of this world. Um, like there's so many good ones. But on This Time It's Personal, it's kind of a song they've done this before, but it's basically just about it's an anti-war song essentially. And what they've always done with these anti-war sentiments is they don't rule their own country out of it. Like they're just not about war. And this line said, when these fields are overrun with children dodging dropping bombs, yeah, your flags all look the same to me. Which like that's brilliant. I don't know.
Yep.
That's so good. It's so good. The Answer had
Answered a lot of good lines in it.
what is it? We all hide, but this is not the answer. Our mouths shut, our hands tied. We no longer can sit while there's a war outside waiting to be won. It kind of gave me like the idea of like feeling helpless, but like urging people to like fight on because this is like maybe when it's needed most.
Like don't quit. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there was a lot of good ones. Last Man Standing was cool because it's like one of those rare like introspective Rise Against songs where he's singing about like a girl or love, and there's still like it's still rooted in war, but it has like an amazing bass intro on it, and I just love a good Joe Principe bass intro. Yeah, I wrote down some of my favorite Rise Against bass intros because it just sent me down this rabbit hole. So here's here's my 5 favorite Rise Against bass intros. Number 1, Like the Angel.
Yes. Yeah.
The Dirt Whispered. It comes in. It's kind of similar to
That's a
how
good one
Last Man
too.
Standing is. He's singing over it. Blood to Bleed is just like that's an older one. Do 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 do, and then drums is just awesome.
That one might be my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. They're just such a good band musically. I thought Holding Patterns. Well, like we can't skip Pain Management. That was another great bass line, but it had a great guitar solo, and then went into this like incredible bridge, and then had these like angry guitars. I don't know how else to describe it, but just like this chugging, like and then Holding Patterns was to me like I don't know if it was strongest lyrically, but I thought instrumentally it was just like a classic Rise Against song. Like if someone wanted to know what Rise Against was like musically, I think this song like really is a good indicator because it has like those drum and bass driven verses and then the guitar in the background just doing like a doo doo, like it's very like they really love doing that. And then like but then the guitar comes in even harder after that, which doesn't always get to do, and it's solos, and then you got Tim screaming, which he doesn't really scream a lot these
He
days.
let one out though.
Yeah, dude, he holds this note into the last chorus and it just is like it's incredible.
his note holding on the answer like really stood out to me too. Like where he's just like, I think it's during the bridge, I want to say.
Yeah, probably.
And I was like, after all these years, he still has like a set of pipes on him somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. I can't wait to see them live because they haven't ever disappointed me before. So
This EP made me sad. I'm not seeing them live this summer.
you're not coming? Thought you were
I thought I
coming.
told you that.
I can't keep up. August got very stacked. Are you coming
did.
to A Day to Remember?
That'll be it. Yep.
Okay. And you're coming to Sum 41 Simple Plan.
Of course. Mhm.
Okay. All right.
And
yeah.
Gaslight
And Gaslight. That's September.
and Menzingers.
Oh yeah, I agreed to that one. You have a ticket for me for that one.
I
right?
do. Yeah.
I gotta get out of this wedding. Not my own wedding, in case anyone takes it that way.
In case you're wondering.
All right, let's roll again. Let
I
me
mean, what do we
highlight.
got? 6?
Let me
5?
highlight the ones. What that we've done so far. Right,
Done
let's do
4?
this.
4.
Did we do 4? I think we just did 3. 6. You know what I have to say about 6? Honestly, never mind.
That's all I have to say about that.
You see Drake release a surprise album, you have to listen to it. I think if you're like a music fan, you have to at least check it out. I don't know how you don't, and I was
Yikes.
not feeling it. I was not feeling it at all.
No,
I think I made it 3 songs and said like screw this.
the last song is very good, but that's like the only song he raps on the entire album. And I lean more towards like the rap side of Drake than R&B Drake. And this
Yeah.
album is definitely not for the
I think
Drake
it's,
rap fans.
I don't think it's for the Drake R&B fans either. It's like a
No,
bad dance album of someone who just discovered autotune like a week ago. I don't know what I'll never like rail on an artist for like trying something new, but it feels like he tried something new and didn't try to make it good. I don't know.
because he just knows like people are going to listen to like whatever he drops pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of got that feel. And like I'm not like a huge Drake fan, so like I don't know if it's gonna like bother people or if I'm like way off. But from my point of view, like I wasn't really about this.
Even like his last album didn't really stick around with me too much. Like I love like a lot of his albums he put out like when we were still in college, and even like the ones after that I got really into. But the last 2 just haven't really clicked.
Yeah. Yeah, I was big on If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, because he
That
performed
was
that.
great. That was a mixtape. Yeah.
Yeah, he performed that when I saw him at Gov Ball. So I would like it made me like instantly a fan. I really like didn't like know him too well. I mean, obviously you know who Drake is, but like I didn't go out of my way to listen. And seeing him like just command this huge crowd by himself and like nail these songs, it was awesome. Like it was one of the coolest performances I think I've ever seen. So like I
And
know
that
he
was
has
prime Drake too.
Yeah, he went so hard on that album. Legend, Energy, 10 Bands, No Telling, Six Got like, oh man, that album rocks.
He put out a What a Time to Be Alive with Future that same year too, in 2015.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm looking at it
That
now.
was a good one too.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's fine. He tried something new, but like he didn't do a good job at it. So
No.
sorry, Drake. All right. It's Drake talk.
And that's our Drake talk. Next.
1. Joyce Manor.
This one is probably my favorite of the batch.
It's tied for me. This one was my favorite for a while until I started listening to another one we haven't got to yet, but this album was really great. And it was 60 minutes, so like that's awesome.
You could listen to like their discography in an hour probably.
Are all their albums like this?
Most of them are like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. I've I've always known about them because they just like exist in that like I guess indie emo world. I don't know
They're in
what
our
you want to
genre.
call them. Yeah, but I never like really dove into them too much. So this was my first like sit down and listen to a full album, and I really liked it.
You have to listen to Self-Titled and Never Hungover Again.
Okay. Yeah,
Both of
I'll do.
those.
This will be the week of follow-ups.
Yep.
It was just so like what's it called? Like literal. All his lyrics are very literal, which I kind of
Yep.
appreciate because I mean I love a good like metaphor and all that jazz, but sometimes it's nice to just have someone just tell you exactly what they're thinking over some cool guitar riffs.
And they just rocked out for like all 16 minutes on this. Like this was another one, like Souvenir. I listened to it like 10 times when I first listened to this album because like I just thought the guitar riff was like just
Yes,
immediately hooks you in.
it's so catchy that lead that they're doing.
And then
That
it
one,
builds and then it explodes and it stays and that riff stays the entire song.
yeah. And I don't even think they sing lyrics with that riff. I think that riff's just like its own little
Yeah.
musical part, which I think is very cool. Like usually when you have like a repeating guitar riff like that, it's like echoing some sort of vocal melody. But this was just like an extra vocalist, but it was
Yeah.
just the guitar.
And then you
And
have the bass like
yeah,
just like chugging right behind it.
yeah,
It's so good.
a lot of bass chugging on this album. Yeah, that one gave me some Weezer vibes, and the last song gave me Weezer vibes. Souvenir kind of reminded me of Tired of Sex just a little bit. I don't know if it was just because of the guitar riff or not,
It might have been.
but and
I
then
could see that.
um MBTA was
Never be
hold
the
on.
same again.
Yeah, that's it. I love how he just like repeats the chorus over and over.
Like, I
It's
wonder what
great.
this stands for. Then he sings the chorus. Like, oh, that's what it
Yeah,
stands for.
yeah. It didn't take long.
Gotta Let It Go was phenomenal too.
Yeah, that reminded me of a Third Eye Blind song that had like
It was like a Third Eye Blind
strong Third
song.
Eye
Yeah.
Blind vibes.
Like
That's all I
Graduate or
like.
something.
Yeah, all these songs on this album like reminded me of different like parts of the genre, which I thought was pretty cool. Like You're Not Famous kind of remind me of Ordinary Girl by Green Day, just like that weird like off like that flat guitar riff kind of thing that they do. I don't know. It's just
No, I know what you mean though.
yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely just like some sort of like flat chord, but it's great. Um there was a line on Dance With Me that I wanted to ask you about because I was reading it trying to decide what I think he means. And he says, "Look at me yelling love is free. Then why is everybody always stealing shit from Best Buy? Could it be that the room's empty and I'm just tearing out my heart for the sound guy?" I'm not sure what that means. I just like him saying love is free and people are stealing from Best Buy. Like maybe he loves like flat screen TVs.
It could be. Because like the second part is definitely like him like thinking he's like playing all these shows with personal lyrics and no one's there other than the security guy.
Yeah.
But the Best Buy part I'm confused about, unless he's like playing his guitar in a Best Buy.
I don't know. Maybe he's just a big fan of like low prices and great TVs.
He might be. You got to listen to that podcast episode that Parco sent you with him on Bandsplain,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Weezer one.
So he talks about Weezer for 5 hours.
It's a 5 hour. It took me a
It's
week to get
actually
through
5
it.
hours. That's wild.
But they had the songs in between, so like you get like a song
okay.
break.
That's cool. Yeah, he was saying that
Shout out
he's
to
like
Bandsplain.
a huge Weezer fan.
And you could see it in their songs too, especially when you listen to like Never Hungover Again and Self-Titled. Like you're gonna be like, wow, he definitely loves Weezer.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, I'll get them I'll get those on this week, especially if they're short albums. It's always easy to digest. So I brought down the other die so I could roll a 4-sided die here. No, that won't work. All right, let's just keep rolling. 7. All right, we got one we didn't
There
get.
we go.
Look at that critical hit. All right, Alexisonfire.
Probably tied for my favorite.
Probably could have wrote the album names next to this list.
Otherness,
Otherness with the face.
the Joker face. It almost looks like, right?
Yeah. All right, I'll let you start this one since these are your guys.
So I had hopes coming into it, trying not to get like my hopes up too high because I know it's been a really long time since they put an album out. But this one hit all the buttons for me that I love about Alexisonfire. Everything that I loved about Watch Out and all their other albums, which I'm like blanking on right now, Young Cardinals, like they did it here. And clearly the time away did them good because they picked up right where they left off. And this one is probably one of their stronger releases that they've ever had. And Dallas still sounds so incredible with his clean vocals. Like I can name probably like the amount of artists that give me chills on one hand, and he's definitely one of them. Especially on San Soleil, like I got like goosebumps, like with like his vocals all throughout that song. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound mean here because I do love Alexisonfire. I do think they have one of the worst screamers of screaming bands that we have around.
That's
But then
brutal.
it's like then it's offset by Dallas though, because it's like you have like this really gritty screamer offset by this guy who's like one of the best singers around. It's like you cringe and you're like, oh, that's pretty much my Alexisonfire reaction every single time. But it works here, and I'm glad they're back, and I'm glad that we actually got a new Alexisonfire album.
Nice. I'm glad as a longtime fan that you really like it. I too like agree. Like his voice is incredible. It's got like that like it's kind of like washed out. I don't know. It's just gritty enough. Um he's got a great voice.
Was I too mean about the screaming?
No, I don't know them well enough to really agree or disagree. I didn't listen and think, boy, the screams are bad. So
I
take
don't mean
that
like they're
as you
bad, but
will.
like I feel like there's better screamers around
Gotcha.
because his sounds like it's just all up in his throat when like most screamers they like their whole body goes into it. If that makes any sense at all, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Um no, I liked it. I thought it kind of like sounded a little of the same to me, but
Of their other stuff.
just no, just like because I don't really know their other stuff very well. So like just in this album, I just thought like the songs kind of blended together a bit. But I thought Conditional Love was really cool because that one was like the first
That was
one
a
where
good
I'm like, all
song.
right, they're turning up the heat, like let's go. And it had a very repetitive guitar riff in it, but I don't know that that's a bad thing. Like I just wrote repetitive guitar riff because they sat on the same one for a while, but like it was kind of cool.
Oh, I
And
guess
then
that's probably a fair critique. Like they definitely have maybe better guitar playing on other albums,
yeah, it's not like nothing
but
else was
it's
going
not like
on.
it's bad. Yeah.
Um, no, it was cool. It wasn't a highlight of the week for me, but I am very glad that you liked it. That's all I care
Yeah. It hit all the buttons for me. So
about. Nice.
I was very glad. I think the lyrics probably with San Soleil kind of hit home too.
Yeah, I didn't.
It
I
was pretty
didn't
much like a
know.
love song. It's like you found me when like I wasn't sure of myself, basically. And
Oh, that's cool. And they're from
like
the UK, right?
Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Canada, eh?
Yeah, I should have known. Then they have like flannel suspenders on. Just like got a Canada look, Canadian look.
That is a very Canada look.
All right, let's roll. We have three left. We got to roll a 2, a 4, or a 9, or we get sent back to the starting area. That's a 3. Can't talk about Rise Against again. Oh. All right, this plan isn't working out as well. I'm going to roll the 4-sided die. All right, there's a 2. Motionless in White. Kind of in the similar vein as Alexisonfire, in terms of like the scope of all the albums. They were on the heavier end. Definitely the heaviest album
Oh,
of the
easily.
week. Yeah. Let's get the name. This album was I really enjoyed this album. I'll say
I
right
did
off the
too.
bat. Oh, Scoring the End of the World, which is just cool.
And it pretty much lived up to that title.
Yeah. It had so many like rock elements to me that I love. And no two songs really sounded alike for the most part. I thought it was a little long, but that could have just been my attention span waning.
It was
But
close to an hour, so I think that's fair.
yeah, by like track like 9, I was kind of good. And that's not to knock the last 4, but I think I'm just like I have a time I like for albums, and this was longer than it. But his voice at times reminded me so much of Ben Burnley from Breaking Benjamin that like I had to check that he wasn't
Yes,
featured on it. Like
you
it was
beat me to that
so
point. I was going to
crazy.
ask you if that's who they reminded you of.
Not in every song, but like I think
On certain
Sign of
songs.
Life and maybe Masterpiece a little bit.
Yep, I had both those written down.
Crazy, like uncanny. I it 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 was wild.
But then on other songs, he sounds like Marilyn Manson.
Yes, yep. That's exactly what I was gonna say next. It's
Like, how do you balance those two together?
I don't know. And then there's like Slipknot vibes on like the
Yes.
real
Mhm.
growly ones. Like which one is it? Slaughterhouse. And I don't know what part Brian Garris of Knocked Loose is doing, but that song
That was so
was
heavy.
so heavy. And it was like not to we won't get too political on this podcast, but it was Rise Against the in the fact that they were kind of like railing against capitalism.
Yep.
They said, in the land of the free, you're a slave to your wealth. You fucking fascist. Die, you fucking pig. This is the consequence of your opulence. You sit back as we collapse left to fight over scraps while you auction off your backs to buy your crown. Auction off our backs. It's just, man, they weren't holding back at
No.
all. And then it has like this super, literally violent breakdown at the end where he's just talking about like cutting these people up.
And they have like the sound of like meat cutting at the end of the
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. And it had that really like dissonant guitar thing that like a lot of bands do, but like A Day to Remember comes to mind with it sometimes when they get really like dark with it. But oh man, that song was definitely like my favorite of the album just because of how hard it went.
What about Red, White, and Boom with some Beartooth?
Ooh. See, that was when
Caleb Shomo of Beartooth.
I don't know if I listened to the last 2. I didn't even realize. So here's my question, because I really appreciated on track 5, they put featuring Brian Garris of Knocked Loose. And I think more feature credits should do that. So then I don't have to look up the person and where they're from. But then they didn't do featuring Caleb Shomo of Beartooth. Where's the of Beartooth? That would have
Or
saved
Mick
me.
Gordon.
Yeah. Fish's bass player is Mike Gordon, and I got really confused and excited for like half a second.
They just
Like,
end with
what?
like a Fish song.
Like, what's he doing here? I gotta re-listen to Red, White, and Boom because I kind of made it to Cyberhex, and then I don't know why I didn't just listen to the last 2 at that point, or I just stopped paying attention. Could have been it.
That could be it.
Yeah.
It also had some Rob Zombie vibes too. I
Yeah,
thought.
it was very like industrial at times.
Yep. Like Nine Inch Nails almost. So
Yeah.
I think that's why I like it so much. It pretty much blends like a ton of bands I like and like just throws them all in a blender. And you get
Yeah.
this smoothie, which like just hits all these different like music
Yes.
taste buds, if you will. But
A rock metal smoothie.
yes,
That is what this album is. And it doesn't
they
feel
would retweet that review.
it doesn't feel forced or like out of place. Like I don't know. It goes from Slaughterhouse to Masterpiece, and Masterpiece doesn't scream at all. And then it goes to Cause of Death, which is super heavy again. They don't even sing till like the chorus at like a minute 15. So
But
like
it all works.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it works really well. My only critique would be that it is kind of long, but like that's not it's not their problem. It's my
Yeah.
problem. And like Meltdown, the first one had like this like robot voice, kind of like I forget what it was saying, but it was just like, you know, laying out like it felt like when you're like online at like a roller coaster and it's like prepare for the drop or like some shit like that. I don't know.
Before
I
you
don't
go
know.
down.
Yeah. It felt like it was like setting the tone for like a ride, and it kind of was. Yeah, I hear these guys like on Octane and stuff, but I never went out of my way to listen.
I feel like this one, like Disguise before this was when I first got into them because I shout out my friend Greg, pointed them out to me. And like I listened to Disguise for like all of 2019. And then to get this one, which I think might be even better. Greg still thinks Disguise is better, but that's I'll let you decide which one's better when you listen to it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, give it. I was gonna say give it a week, but I think it's been two because this came
Yeah.
out before the break. I listened to it on the way down to the Carolinas, and then I listened again yesterday.
I do tend to get caught up in the moment on releases, so
What can I say? Where
at least I'm honest.
All right, so now we have a 4 and a 9. So I feel like there's an easier way to do this than just rolling. If only I had a
Dealer's
coin.
choice.
Here's a coin. Heads is 4, tails is 9. Heads 4. Lit. Lit. Tastes like gold.
Tastes like gold. Yep.
Tastes like gold. When was the last time you listened to Lit other than hearing My Own Worst Enemy at a bar?
That might be the last time. I feel like
yeah, and I don't say this to like knock them in any way, but I just want to know the page we're on together.
No, I think you're right. Like the only reason I knew they put out a new album was because Playlist Wars did an interview with they did a show with one of the guys in the band, and I
listened to it.
They put together a playlist of this album, and I was like, wow, if they're selling me on it, like I actually want to check this out now. And it hit that same nerve that listening to New Bowling for Soup hit. Like it's these guys still making like the same quality music they did then, and they're okay with how old they are now. They're not denying it. They're like comfortable in that place, and the music reflects that. And I'm old now too, so I feel like I'm able to relate with what they're saying, and it makes me like admire it even more. So never thought I would be listening to a Lit album in 2022, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, me too. Credit to Playlist Wars guys. Check them out. Playlist Wars.
Coming up in a couple of weeks.
They said it great because they said it feels like a late 90s 2000s album with current day production.
Yep.
Which I thought really hit the nail.
Exactly what it is.
Hit the point on the head. Yeah, the first song was a little, I didn't know that they like did this country thing for a little bit. Like yeah had like this country
like a twang
going
almost,
on.
right?
Yeah. I didn't know that, like, because apparently they put out like a country-ish album recently. Not recently, but like between then and now.
When
and
country's
this was
blowing
them
up.
like going back to like just their normal sound, more or less. My favorite off the album was Mouth Shut. There's like a oh in it. I'm gonna get it right. Yeah, he goes like, oh, da 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 da. It's just like It was such a nostalgic. Oh, I don't know. It gave me goosebumps. Like
it's a late 90s. Oh.
Yeah, like it just feels like an I've heard before, probably from him, and it just, I don't know. It's just a really nice sounding like that makes the whole song for me. It's just. I don't know. It's so weird, but yeah, that one, that was great. And like the topic wasn't bad either. It's just like, don't talk about anything anymore. I always got a little confused on what angle they're coming at it from.
Yeah, what their message is.
But I guess if you want to just take it bare bones and that, like, it's probably safer to not open your mouth about stuff because you're going to cause problems.
Yeah.
That's pretty safe way to look at it.
That's probably what the message was for that one.
What were some of your favorites off this album?
I think Okay With That is the one that I'm thinking was like the Bowling for Soup one where like they're okay with being old.
Okay With That.
I'm pretty sure that's the one, or it's Do It
Yeah.
Again. I know I like both of those a lot. Those are my two favorites. I might be mixing them together though.
Yeah, okay with that was like a slower one.
So maybe it was Do It Again then. And it was like I'd do it all again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yep.
Do It Again is the one where they say they do it
They
again.
do it all again.
Wow.
Go figure.
That would be funny if you just take choruses from songs, but just put them as the name for other songs just to like mess with people.
The other Do It Again is Sugar Ray's Answer the Phone.
I have that one over my head.
No?
They
You
had
don't know
a-
that song?
I probably have to hear it. It sounds like it, or it's lyrically like it.
Lyrically. He screams like do it again in the chorus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you.
Shout out Sugar Ray.
Shout out Sugar Ray. This is a Sugar Ray podcast now.
They'll put out a new album next that we'll like.
They also had a Cars cover on this.
That was a great cover.
The best Cars song, or the only one that I'm super familiar with, but it was a great cover.
Just What I Needed. You don't know?
Oh,
My Best Friend's Girl.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know way more Cars songs than I thought, or at least two more than I thought.
And they had Butch Walker on that too, which is a cool little duet, if you will.
Yeah, he said like their kids are in a band together, something like that. He was saying on the Playlist Wars podcast.
Oh, that's right. They did say that.
Yeah.
That was a cool fun fact.
Yeah. Super fun. No, yeah, this was a cool album. I didn't have like much expectations at all. So like the fact that there were a few that I like a lot is like,
That's all you can ask for.
yeah.
Curious what you think of our last album here. Is this your favorite?
This is easily my favorite of them.
Really?
I have probably listened to this album like 6 times in the past 2 days. Sometimes Forever by Soccer Mommy, who never even heard of until you told me to listen to her. Thought they were like a Midwest emo band based off their name. Nope. Not a Midwest emo band. Sophia, I have it written down over here. Sophie Allison. Sorry, Sophie Allison. She grew up in Nashville, but she was born in Switzerland, and then eventually moved to NYU. So like she's got some she's been around music places, and this album is like, it's like early 90s. It's like 90s.
It's a very
alt-rock,
90s
like,
album.
done amazingly. And then it gives me a lot of like Moon in Antarctica, Modest Mouse vibes. Like
You're nailing my notes here.
It gets so dark, and like Darkness Forever is incredible. I cannot get enough of this song.
That's a Moon in Antarctica song.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's so cool. There's just so much like attitude to these songs, and like they go hard without like being heavy. Like, I don't know, there's just like this like attitude to them that I just love. And then Shotgun, I think, is one of like the catchiest songs of the year.
Oh, it's so good. Bones
So-
too.
Yeah. This is like album of the year contender for me right now.
I'm glad you liked it. I wasn't sure what you were gonna think.
I really like it. Like I want to see her live. Like this is so cool.
Because I love like
Oh.
Circle the Drain on her last album.
I really wanted to listen to her earlier stuff, but I couldn't pull myself away from this.
It's
So I
not
figured
dark
I'll
like this,
just
or
wait.
some of it is, but it's definitely like brighter.
Singer-songwriter kind of thing.
It's
Oh,
like
brighter,
similar
brighter.
sounding,
I
but
thought
it's
you
like
said
brighter.
brighter.
Like this one, like how we said this one got a little dark,
Yeah.
like a dark 90s alternative almost. That
Uh,
one's like 90s alternative too, but like a little, the shades are open, they're not closed.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, she had some quote. I was reading an interview. I forgot to write it down, but she basically said like she likes like tapping into that like dark side, but like not letting it consume her, which I think is, I mean,
It's
probably
a good
the
message.
safest way to do it if you're gonna
Yeah.
like if you're gonna write like stuff like this. Otherwise you end up like too many artists that
Yeah.
fall victim to it. But
There's even like Nirvana, something in the way vibes on some of these songs too.
yeah. Yeah, I love going into an artist or an album, more importantly, an artist where you know nothing about. Like I didn't even know she was a girl singer, like clicking play on the first song. So like I was completely, and I was like vibing to Bones. And I'm like, oh, this is really like nice. Like this is just, I was kind of listening to it at like 2:30 on like a Wednesday. I was pretty tired at that point. Like it's almost caffeine time. I was just like sitting at my desk and just like vibing to it. And then Unholy Affliction was like slow and dreamy. And all these songs had like really strong bass lines, which I just love.
Yeah,
I'm
the
a
band
sucker
is
for
just
bass.
great with her.
Yeah. Yeah. So Soccer Mommy is her, but she tours with a band and it's like her band. And I was looking at, like, I followed her on Instagram so I can like see what she's about. And when she like debuted the album, she like added everyone who was involved and all this stuff, like super super humble. um
I
I'm a
gotta go see her now.
Yeah, I was huge fan of this, like, damn, because I don't know, we'll get into it with Nick in a little. Part of my gripe with Weezer was that it's just like kind of lacking that like sincerity and emotion, and I feel like a majority of all the albums we just talked about really leaned into that sincerity and emotion well. Like, and this one by far the most. Joyce Manor, Rise
Bartees, definitely.
Against, Bartees, yeah. So that, I don't know. I really appreciate when an artist is singing from the heart and not just trying to make great songs, but doing both. And if an artist doesn't sing from the heart and makes great songs, like that's still cool. Not gonna write them off, but when they nail both, it's just,
It's something special.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, that's our die. That's our 12-sided dice.
It's a solid average. So 8 out of 9 were good.
Yeah.
If we want to just base it on that easy scale.
Good or not good?
Good or not good.
I like it. I thought about like putting like a number out
Like
of like
ranking
5 or
them.
10 per album, but I don't know. Just I'm not into that. I'd rather just talk about what I like and don't like.
Yeah.
It's easier.
And I think it's fair for all these albums too, because they're pretty much all doing something different.
Yeah.
I'd say they're very different actually. Like looking at the full list again, but
Yeah. No, I'd say really no two are alike. I would put Coheed, Alexisonfire, and Motionless in White in like the same grouping.
they could be on the
But
same tour.
yeah, but they're all pretty different. And then
Yeah.
I guess I could see Joyce Manor and Soccer Mommy together.
Drake's
Um,
by himself.
Drake's just dancing to his bad club music. I listened to that album while getting ready for a wedding, and I'm like, if this isn't the right setting for it, I don't know what is. And it
Yeah.
just didn't.
That's usually not a good sign.
Yeah, I asked my cousin, who's like a diehard Drake fan, what he thought, because I wanted to hear what like an actual fan of Drake's thought about it, and he said he said I actually really like it. Everyone was expecting bars and shit. That's why they are bashing it. But he switched it up. It's still warming up for me, but it's on repeat. So I don't know. That to me, that sounds like a fan who doesn't like it and wants to
He's
like
like
it.
trying to.
Yeah. I should ask him his thoughts now that he had like a week or two to sit on it.
I can never get into EDM. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Why it'll
Was
probably
this
not click with me.
I didn't even listen to this enough to know if it was EDM-ish.
It's like vibey, EDM-ish.
I'd rather just put on like lo-fi chill beats to study to.
Pretty much what this was.
We do have one more album to talk about. And as we mentioned earlier, we have a good friend of the pod, Nick Parco, on to discuss the new Weezer summer EP. So we're going to throw it to that. And then we'll see you on the other side and we'll talk some news. We now welcome on friend of the pod, first ever returning guest, Nicholas Parco. Cool kicking back in your computer chair. You summon Nicholas and Brett. Hey guys, we should torture the Nick Parco. Yes, why don't we do it for our entertainment? Nick, we go round and round and around again. Another season of Weezer. Are you ready?
You somehow one-upped your last intro from the last post here, which I mean, I was less prepared for that one though. So
I haven't listened to
I
the
once
song
again
enough.
have no witty comeback for you. So thank you. I'm glad to be back.
I haven't listened to the song enough to know the cadence, so I kind of just want full disclosure.
I assume that's one of the songs on the EP we're going to talk about.
That was Lawn Chair, right?
Yeah, that was Lawn Chair.
I for sure haven't listened to it enough to be able to, unless I hear River singing and know that it's a Weezer song.
I feel like we all did the same thing on this one. It's like a couple listens. We're like, all right, it's enough of that.
Yeah. Rarely
Someone
does it feel like
class.
homework. This was homework.
That's a good way to describe it.
Did you guys like it more than the spring one or no?
I think I like Spring better.
Yeah.
I guess
There
I'm
were
the
some-
outlier here.
I mean, I like the instrumentation better on this one, but the lyrics just completely went the wrong way for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There were cool, there were a lot of cool parts, like cool guitars, and
They got a little heavy.
Blue Jazz had like a sweet guitar riff, and the end of like the last song got pretty heavy. But I don't know, I just like couldn't get interested in it. I don't know. How do you feel, Nick? Like, did you get to listen to it a couple times?
Yeah, I took notes and everything in preparation for this. I do think I like it better than the spring one, because I think it has higher highs. The lyrics to me, like, yeah, that's a wash for like the last 7 records they've done.
That's fair.
So I'm kind of numb to the lyrical part of Weezer at this point. But musically, I thought it was a big upgrade, as you guys were kind of touched upon a little bit. I think there's some really, really good moments on this one.
With that being said, I want to read you something off the Wikipedia page because I read this like when I was like getting ready for the podcast, and I couldn't believe what this one review said. So this reviewer, we'll name him Alex Hudson from Exclaim, which I've never heard of before, but he said this is their heaviest release and it surpasses Maladroit and Van Weezer after largely praising the EP. I don't think it's anywhere near Maladroit.
It's Maladroit to me is like a different band
Yeah, it is.
than the band that made this. I mean, it's the same lineup, I think. I think Maladroit was Scott Schreiner's first. Was Maladroit before or after Green?
It was the one right after.
Yeah. So it's the same lineup, but yeah, totally different band. I couldn't disagree with that more.
That was a really heavy. That might be their heaviest album.
I would say that's their heaviest and most guitar-driven album.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like riff heavy album, because it's power pop, it's all super guitar-driven. But as far as the riffs and stuff go, yeah, I think that they kind of peaked when it comes to that stuff with Maladroit. And I don't understand how anyone could listen to this.
I think it's that.
And I'm not like I love Maladroit, like because it's part of the early stuff. I don't like it as much as Blue or Pinkerton or a couple of the other ones. But to even put this in the same sentence with Maladroit is weird.
I get Van Weezer, but like don't go to Maladroit with it. And Van Weezer, they were trying to be like an 80s metal band. So it's like I don't really get the comparison.
Yeah, I don't understand that review at all. I did see that quote because I have the Wikipedia up too for Summer, and I was just kind of flabbergasted when just the part that it was like overwhelmingly a positive review. I don't. It's whatever. It's just blah. Like the most of their recent output, it's just better blah than the other one this year. Is how I would put it.
We're only halfway through.
How many days has it been? Has it been exactly
I think it's only been like a week because it was on the
90
summer
days?
solstice, like on the official first day of summer. I think they're I think that's how they're doing all of them.
Yeah. Like next one's September 21st, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so like roughly 90 days or so.
Do we know anything about that whatsoever?
I know
Like-
fall. I think that isn't that the one they're trying to do the strokes sound. He teased a little bit.
I had
All right.
higher, I had higher
I'm gonna
hopes for
listen
this
to
one.
it at least once for this. So
Yeah.
Weezer makes like to me great summer music, and I just feel like this like missed the mark a little bit. I wanted more like I almost
White
want to say
Album.
I wanted like more poppiness, but I don't know if that's really the right way to put it. But it just kind of felt like I feel like Rivers is out of ideas. Like just with this whole like season thing in general.
Did the
Like-
lyrics give that away?
we're only
Yeah.
halfway there. I mean, we're halfway through the year. So
Yeah, I think the lyrics, you're right, Brett. That's kind of now that I'm looking at it, like that's what turned me away from it. It was just like the record song was probably one of the ones I liked more, and the lyrics were just so like they were too literal for me. Like I feel like that's a song like some kid in school writes, like I like records, la la la.
I like Nirvana and Rihanna.
Yeah, yeah. I did
although
like
I'm shaking my head, I that's probably my favorite song of either of the two EPs so far. Just because I think the chorus is like just vintage, really big, really catchy chorus. The lyrics around it and in the verse and the Rihanna stuff, obviously, I don't really care about that. But the chorus is so damn catchy. It's the catchiest chorus they've written in a while.
They do know how to write a chorus. I'll give them that.
yeah.
And they are like he did kind of string these EPs together a little bit because like he kind of went back to that Angels on Vacation theme with like lawn chair. Like now they're back in heaven, they're bored, they want to torture humans. So I guess he's trying to have some kind of like through line. That's the word.
Yeah.
Through all these EPs, but it's not the greatest storytelling or songwriting on his part.
Props to you for reading that deep into the lyrics because I would have never made that connection.
Yeah, I missed
I
that
just heard
too.
Angels again. I was like, oh, he's talking about angels after Angels on Vacation.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I
do-
connected.
I did like in seasons. I like whenever he mentions Nirvana because it's something they've done in a bunch of songs. I know they did it in Heart Songs on the Red album.
Yeah.
Talks about listening to them for the first time on Suzanne. So in Suzanne when he's like even Izzy Slash and Axl Rose, the original lyrics were even Kurt Cobain and Axl Rose, but he changed them because it came out after Kurt Cobain died, I think. Or I guess live he switched it up
Yeah,
after
that
Kurt
makes
Cobain
sense.
died. But I do like when he hits Nirvana because it just gives me hope that like, oh, he still remembers
Yeah.
like how he got here and the like hit the original influences from the the really good era of Weezer.
That changed like his whole music world, didn't it? Never mind.
Probably.
Just by reading into how he's referenced them, yeah. Specifically in Heart Songs.
Yeah. I thought Records was almost like a store brand version of Heart Songs in a way. Or
It's
maybe
less
even
and-
lower,
it's
or maybe even lower
just a less
quality. but-
emotional version. Every
Yeah.
album you get less and less emotion lyrically with them, which is why I'm kind of past that at this point. I just kind of enjoyed this because I just listened to the instruments themselves, and they do kind of show off, like, specifically him and Brian Bell or whoever else is playing guitar on the recorded versions. They're having fun on this album with the guitars. It's a good guitar album.
Yeah.
It's just everything else around it is just not up to the high points that Weezer can hit. Not that they've hit them in a while, but
Yeah, I feel like it's just as overproduced as the last however many albums. Basically, I feel like since the Red album, it's just been down.
Yeah. It's just kind of missing that like grit. Cause like there is like heavy guitar and it's distorted and it's raw, but it's just not, it's not raw enough. Like I don't, Weezer's such a weird band to talk about. I don't know why. I just always struggle like getting my thoughts out on them because they've done so many different things. And like he wrote Pinkerton. Like I love him. I
Yeah.
love him for that. And it's, I don't want to sit here and say like I don't like his new stuff, but like it's just missing. What drew me to like Weezer always was just like the emotion and the sincerity. And I feel like that's all gone. I think Spring had more like sincerity in the album than this one. This one feels a little hollow to me.
I
did
think
like-
oh, go ahead.
I did like Blue Like Jazz a lot because the guitar riff is pretty awesome. And he has a line about like 16th notes and stuff. So that's like a little like meta. And there's like this muted string thing they do into the chorus, which is really cool. Yeah, the instruments on this are great. I just wish you could get the lyrics like in check. And I'd
Just
I'd
be
all in.
average with them instead of just spreadsheet.
The master Excel sheet. Yeah. Nick, I hate to break your heart, but Blue Like Jazz is probably my least favorite song on the album.
Yeah. How come?
Because the riff it just sounds like it's from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, not Weezer.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I
first
do
time
like
I
me some
heard it-
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
It's just not them. The first time I heard it, I was like, I feel like it's December and I'm at a Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert. Like that is so not them.
That's the winter album.
Yeah, maybe that would have made a little bit more sense. I just didn't. It doesn't sound like a Weezer song to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's part of what I liked about it is that it caught me off guard.
That's also fair. Yeah.
Because I was listening and like the intro is like whatever, and then it's just it's just a little poppy, and then all of a sudden comes in like out of nowhere like this. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? All right, maybe there's some life to this after all. Yeah, there was like a lot of cool parts, but nothing as a whole made me like psyched.
I think this
Yeah.
coming out with that Broadway announcement at the same time, like it makes total sense. Like some of
Yeah.
these songs sound like they're like almost writing so they can perform them on a Broadway stage.
Yeah, what's the good of being good? I wrote that same note down.
Even in records, or in lawn chairs, the opener, right? Between that and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the names, but I definitely haven't listened to Spring since we recorded that episode. Opening night. Both of them have like this big orchestral opening, like beginning of both those songs. So yeah, that definitely also lends itself to being played on a stage, like a Broadway stage, I guess.
I think that would be cool, to be honest. Like, I think it would make me like everything more to just see like another element to it.
I
maybe
didn't look,
that's-
but I read that the tickets were like astronomically expensive.
I can imagine.
I
And
didn't
you're
even know if
going
it
for
existed
seasons.
yet. It already exists. Like I thought he would wait till it was all out, or is he performing like?
It's spring, summer, fall, winter, and then encore, which would lie if I didn't say I was a little bit tempted, because if they play deep cuts, like I will be pissed if I look at the set list and they play like Jamie or something.
Yeah, that would.
Jamie's so good.
Yeah, because I read the press release and it said it's the EPs with Weezer deep cuts thrown in. Though at this point, I don't know if that means like Pinkerton and Blue Album B-sides or like the 5th song off of Hurley. Like I don't know what considered
Gratitude.
a deep cut at this point. Is it like the song that Michael Cera sings the chorus on in Hurley, or is it like I just threw out the love of my dreams? And I'm definitely not spending money banking on it being a good B-side.
Has he done any yet? When does it? Do we know when it starts?
September, I think, right?
September.
Yeah, so I'm not good. I don't know when winter solstice is, but definitely not September, right? So I guess they're gonna play it before it's even
I
out.
think so. That's the one they're trying to be what's his name? What's that singer-songwriter's name?
Elliott Smith, yeah.
Elliott Smith, yep.
Can't wait for that.
So that'll be full acoustic, I'm assuming.
That's a dude who is just like all lyrics.
Yeah.
Just him and a guitar. It's just all about the lyrics. And
And no spreadsheets.
as we've gone over, yeah, they're like the anti-Elliott Smith now.
Maybe he's saving the good stuff for winter lyrically.
There's been one, like, I really like records, and a little bit of love it has grown on me. So there's been one solid song on each one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was Brett's
to
theory.
me,
right?
it's not like
Mhm.
they're out of
All I
ideas.
ask for at this
It's
point.
still in there somewhere, like they release way too many albums for my liking. Like the input's too high because not a lot of it's good, but there's always one or two solid songs on a Weezer record.
Wonder if like them taking some time off would be good from like releasing albums, because like I've been listening to like or is it? So Nick, you might know this answer, but is it Alexisonfire or Alex is on fire?
We still, oh, yeah. Like, I don't know.
I should know because when I was in college, I was a DJ at a radio station that played that type of music. I don't remember, to be honest. I think it's Alexisonfire.
It's Alexisonfire, right? Okay, that's what
Think
I
it
have
is.
always called them.
Is that is
Yeah.
that Dallas Green's band?
It is, yep.
Yeah,
But
I
like
think
they
it's
just
Alexisonfire.
okay, but like they just put out their first album in like a decade last week, and it's really really good. Like I'm not gonna get into it too much because I haven't talked to Nick about it yet, but like it just shows like if you spend some time away and then come back together, you might just be able to like find something again instead of just pumping out stuff year after year or multiple times a year as Weezer's been doing.
Or he could just write pop songs for other artists and then save like the other stuff for Weezer. I don't think
Yeah.
he can stop at this point. Like he needs to be writing constantly is the vibe I
I
get.
agree with you. I don't think he could stop.
But he could stop Weezer. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to stop writing.
I mean,
I don't want him to
I
stop
view
Weezer. I
it-
want to make that clear, but maybe.
I view it as they always want to be touring because it's in this era, like that's the only way you make money. Not that they're like I'm not crying poor for Weezer, don't get me wrong. They've sold like a bajillion records. They were rich by like 2000 probably. But they tour a lot. Like they're on that tour right now with Fall Out Boy and Green Day. They headline a bunch of festivals. I actually, since we last spoke, I saw them at a festival in Tennessee. And they headlined it. They closed it on Sunday night. It
Wow.
was ridiculous. I was like, how do all these people know all these songs? So I can never, they're never going to stop because they just keep making money. They're on Kimmel every time. Every time they make an album, they like do the late night stuff. And then they go on tour and they make a bunch of money and then they go back to the studio. I wish they would take a break because if you look at their discography, the most recent longest break they took was from 2010 to 2014. They released Hurley in 2010, and then Everything Will Be All Right in the end in 2014.
But that was a great album.
Since then, it's just been like an album every year, and yeah. So the evidence shows when they take a break,
It
good
works.
things happen. I mean, and the longest break was between Pinkerton and Green. Granted, it's because they basically broke up, and I don't
Wasn't
want
there-
that to happen, but
There's a break between Blue and Pinkerton too, right?
yeah, like only one or
A
two
couple
years.
years.
But the Green was like the comeback because after Pinkerton was I was 5 years old, but for some reason it was just bashed so hard that he was like, screw this. So,
Maybe we need to bash him really hard to motivate him.
yeah, not that I'm gonna blame the media because I'm not one of those people, but it's really obvious that after Pinkerton was received so harshly, he just threw out every piece of emotion in his songwriting. You see it like once an album, maybe, but he really opened himself up on Pinkerton, obviously. And they've just never been the same since. People say it's Matt Sharp. I don't like that argument.
No.
I just think he saw, at least in the beginning, how many people didn't like Pinkerton and was just like, okay, screw this. I'll just write pop songs without any emotion and still make money. And that's what he's done for like 25 years since Pinkerton.
He's great at
This
it.
might be like a dumb question though, but like seeing how much people love Pinkerton now, like wouldn't you think he'd like at least try to like return to something like that once with like as many releases as they put out?
My guess would be like he was relatively young when he wrote the Blum and Pinkerton. I imagine he had a lot more to be upset about when he wrote Pinkerton. Like now he's got a family and
Yeah, successful career.
bunch of money
Yeah.
and Grammys and this and that. So My guess would be
Yeah,
it's
true.
not even in there anymore.
It wouldn't be sincere. Then like we'd go full circle.
Unless you're right about
we go
winter.
from we go from there's not enough emotion to like this is fake as hell.
Yeah, that's
And I would
really
almost
funny.
rather just be okay with what they're doing right now
That's
than if
why-
it tries to fake it.
it's so interesting with these EPs because there's so many parts of it where like you hear, I mean, it is Weezer, and you hear like I think what's the good of being good? Like that chorus is like classic Weezer to me. Like his voice hits the high note, it's got that nice range and everything. It's just like a classic Weezer chorus, but for some reason, like I was like kind of bored, but like it's still there, it's still in him.
I did note in that song, I wrote a few notes for each song, and for that one I wrote like, yeah, the chorus is great. It's vintage Weezer. The falsetto, love
Yeah.
it. And also even the lyrics when he's like, my no loving wife to smile at me, like that's like the return of Incel Rivers from like Pinkerton, basically him saying things like that.
Yeah, that song, now that you mentioned the lyrics and that those were kind of interesting. I guess it was just him like thinking about if like he had nothing that he has. Like I didn't read too much into it, but a lot of it was like you said, like no wife, no daughter to dote on, something about like your best friend steals your woman. Like it was pretty negative. I don't know.
Even the title is like, oh wow, he maybe didn't get 100% of this from the Excel spreadsheet. Maybe he like sat down and wrote what was on his mind in that moment.
I re-listen to that one now.
What's the good of being good?
Story of Weezer.
What did you guys?
Yeah, actually,
I
the
can't
lyrics in
believe
this, I want to just make, because I was kind of hating on the lyrics. This one looks like pretty good, like poetry of sorts. So I want to give him credit where it's due. This one's got some lines that are interesting.
Unlike Cuomoville, which the title, I almost wanted to just skip over it off the bat.
We were talking about that before you jumped on.
Like, did he
The
really
note
make
I
a
have
song
for it-
Cuomoville?
The note I have for it is like, that is so aggressively ballsy to write a song called Cuomoville. That's just insane.
I'm looking
Though
at the
I like the
lyrics
guitar
now.
solo. That's about
Yeah,
it. But
that's
it's
what I
the
wrote
guitar
for that
solo.
one.
Yep.
Cool guitar solo.
Musically, it's very good. I will give the whole band credit for that. I'm not
Yeah.
questioning that at all.
That's the main reason I like it more than the spring EP. Is because musically, there's not like computerized like orchestra sections like there was on Spring or Shakespeare references. This is more like them. I'm not gonna say like Back to the Shack-ish, but this is
Closer.
yeah, this is closer than they've been in a while to sounding like vintage Weezer. The lyrics just suck.
Yeah, but I keep going back to the play thing in my head because kind of corny or like cringy lyrics.
Yep.
If you put them on a stage and have people acting, like that might change the whole vibe of it. Like,
Did you see the photos they released with this EP, the new band photos?
no, I haven't
It's
seen
like,
any since the
actually,
Elf
I
years.
haven't.
I think it's on their I think it's on their Spotify page.
It's not worse than the Elf years, but it's
Yeah,
like
it's the banner on the
it is-
Spotify page.
It's like live action role play.
But you bring up a good point. It's like Broadway level dramatic, those photos. So now that we're into the second one, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head where maybe that is the theme. Like they're preparing, they want it to be super dramatic, so it'll be good on Broadway. I do wonder where they're going to fit these songs live. Because when I saw them a couple months ago, I don't think they played any songs from Spring, and it was after we talked. So I know they're on tour now in Europe with Fall Out Boy and Green Day.
It's like they're saving them.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're just gonna do it for the Broadway run, and that's it.
I could kind of see that. Like it's just like I don't know, like how My Chem did the Black Parade and like came out as the Black Parade. Like maybe this is
Yeah.
their like theater thing.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, the more we're
It's
talking
just-
about it, the more
It
I'm
makes a
coming
lot
around
more
on
sense.
it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just makes so much more sense in My Chemical Romance because they were always just like dramatic theater kids making emo music.
Yeah. And I do think looking at these album covers, like when all four are out and you can put them in a neat little box, it's gonna look really cool.
It's one
The
thing they're good
green,
at
red.
is album covers for the like outside of Hurley. They're good at like keeping in theme with albums, with album covers.
Gratitude was kind of strange.
With the dog, yeah.
Actually, yeah, Ratatouille is probably as someone who loves Lost, I don't hate the cover of Hurley.
Just really random.
Ratatouille is just the weird one. And the story behind the Hurley cover I read recently is like that guy likes Weezer, went to like a meet and greet, took a picture with Rivers, and Rivers cropped himself out and made that the photo of the album.
That's awesome.
It's just ridiculous.
Might be
man.
the worst one, but probably the best story.
Yeah, everything else I imagine is. I would love to know the story behind the Ratatouille cover, though. I don't know it. I do think that Dwight from The Office named that album. That's a nugget in my brain. The guy who plays Dwight.
That sounds like something he'd do.
And friends with
Rainn Wilson.
Rivers and name that.
Rain and Rivers. They should make their own band
Hey,
and do albums about seasons.
what did you
Well-
guys think of the single release though? That you would like have your phone spinning to listen to it.
You told me about that, but I didn't get to try it.
No, I waited till they put the EP out.
You
I
can't
tried
even
to
get
come-
you in the singles with a gimmick, can they?
I want to get dizzy for like
It's a
spinning
good,
for 4 minutes.
gimmick. Like it was a cool gimmick. I did it for like 2 seconds, and my dog started barking, so I stopped. I didn't need to hear it that badly. Also, they did it like 24 hours before the single came out. I might have actually legitimately tried to listen to it if it was like 2 weeks before the single came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really waited a long time on this one. Like Parker, we were talking, and it's like, are they going to actually drop this on time for you to come on this week? Because like we didn't know if they're going to actually stick to their dates, and the next thing you know, it's out.
Yeah, you would think that. I'm not sure if it's the solstice of every season, but I don't think all the release dates are out yet for the other two. I would imagine they're done with them though. Like
They're planning
imagine-
Broadway.
Yeah, but I think I would bet the songs are done for all of them already.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like I don't think they have time. They do what they do. They tour relentlessly every year. So especially in the last few years when they weren't able to, it's like they're doing it on overdrive now.
Winter solstice is December 21st. And if Weezer's putting out an EP on December 21st, I have high hopes for it. Because they are such like all the like angel references and all this, and then like all the Christmas songs he picks are always like the very heavy like religious ones and stuff. So like I could see him going all out for an album that comes out a few days before Christmas.
You ever listen to their Christmas album?
Have I? I love that. That's part of my Christmas tradition. Christmas Eve,
Oh,
wrap the
goodness.
gifts and listen to that.
I
But
love
yeah, it's all
rock
like
music,
super-
but
he
the
picked all the-
Christmas rock music. I do like the Killers Christmas songs that they release every year, but that's my extent of listening to like
Oh.
modern rock bands.
That's why you hate Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Correct. I have seen them though. I saw them. I got free tickets once to see them, and one of the main reasons I went is because I heard they always bring out a special guest, and I saw them at the Prudential Center in Newark when I was in college, and Joe Walsh played guitar, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. I thought you were gonna say like Bon Jovi came
That's what
out.
I
or
was gonna
something.
I would have walked out if Bon Jovi showed up.
We know how much you love Bon Jovi.
He's a really good person. I just don't like his music, like, especially like does a lot of great stuff for where we're from in Jersey.
Monmouth alum, honorary.
I want to say he went to my high school for 1 year. Don't fact check that, but I'm pretty sure
Oh,
he went to
I'm
St.
going
John
to.
Vianney High School in Lincroft or Homedale, New Jersey, whatever town it's in, for 1 year and then left and then got famous.
He was a runaway.
And now the rest stop directly near my parents' house is called John Bon Jovi Service Area on the Garden State Parkway.
Very fitting.
Which my wife, who is from New York and knows that I hate Bon Jovi, thinks it's absolutely hilarious that it's named after him and not Bruce Springsteen, seeing how Springsteen is also from relatively pretty close to where that rest stop is.
Well,
You think the boss would get dibs over that?
it's his life, so
I would be making references, but I know nothing about his music.
you're from New Jersey. You know it, like whether you know it or not.
This is depressing. I know like Have a Nice Day. Like that's what I know about Bon Jovi. I've never listened to Slippery When Wet. That's him, right?
Yeah.
Or New Jersey. Like no, it's been all Springsteen since I was like 12 years old.
I bet if
Yeah,
we
you're-
played his top 10 songs, you would just like know at least
Oh
8 of them.
no, absolutely, because they're on the radio constantly.
Exactly, because we live in New Jersey.
Yep.
Didn't Paul McCartney just bring him out? I think he came out and Bruce came out.
And
They
only
brought
one of
both
them
out?
performed with Paul McCartney. Bon Jovi just was like, "Hey,"
You just
And
stood there.
and then they played a Bruce
Oh.
Springsteen song, and he was not involved in it.
Oh wow. That's funny. He just like was side
Yeah.
stage, just kind of walked out a
I
little
think
too
it
far.
was. I think it was McCartney's birthday, and they sang "Happy Birthday," but then Bon Jovi walked off, and they played. I think it was "Glory Days." I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really awesome.
I really wanted to go to that McCartney show. I just couldn't
Yeah,
justify
same.
spending that much money on a concert.
I had a
I
wedding.
looked like 48 hours before, and it was like I'm not spending $400 for nosebleeds
That's insane.
at MetLife, which I've seen U2 and I've seen Springsteen there, and I would so much rather see anybody at an indoor arena compared to MetLife.
MetLife just sucks for everything. So
Yeah, both football teams suck for
Yeah.
sure.
the stadium itself
I'm
sucks.
doing an outdoor venue. I want like PNC or Jones Beach on Long Island, like that kind of amphitheater, not just these guys that want to sell 100,000 tickets. I mean, I get why they do it. I get why McCartney does it. I get why Springsteen does it.
Yeah, those $400 tickets weren't even resale. Like tickets were just going for that much. I think face value was up there. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's insane. And I get it. He's a Beatle. I would love
Yeah.
to see him.
Yeah.
And if he was playing at City Field, which I live like 10 minutes from City Field, and I feel like he always plays there because of the Beatles' history with Shea, I would have went because it would have been really easy for me to go. But
Yeah.
I'm not trekking to the swamps of Jersey to go,
No.
for that, for
Yeah,
that much
that's
money.
fair.
But the set list was insane. And I was actually at another concert that night and I saw the set list and I was like, shit. I'm having second guesses on why I saw Phoebe Bridgers instead of Paul McCartney tonight.
Yeah, I had so much FOMO on that. I didn't even look anything up. I couldn't do it to myself. Maybe like next week. I'm not ready.
Yeah. I've never seen a Beatle. I would,
Yeah.
assuming he tours at least one more time. I mean, he is 80, so no promises. Like he might just say, "This is it."
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Not. But yeah.
I'm also saving my money because I know Springsteen's playing, and he's another one where he took a long break. I think the last time they played was like him
Arden?
with the band, not outside of the Broadway stuff. Was on the River Tour like 5 or 6 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. And they're all super old, so I definitely want to see them at least one more time.
Yeah. Yeah, we speaking of outside venues, were you at the PNC show for Weezer years ago? I thought that was a great time.
That was a great show.
Because you nailed it with the festival. Like they can headline a festival. Easy.
Absolutely.
They
It
can
was-
command a crowd easy. They have more hits than they can probably play in like a whole headlining set.
Yeah, so I don't know if I saw them at PNC with the Flaming Lips,
Oh, that's
I
cool.
think,
Another theatrical band.
which was weird because the Flaming Lips played first, which I feel like indie street cred, like the Flaming Lips are much more respected. Even this is probably like Hurley era Weezer, but even then, definitely like Pitchfork and all those places definitely respect the Flaming Lips.
Oh
more.
yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, seeing them 2 months ago was my first time seeing them in a while.
How'd they
And
do?
it was incredible. It was at a Beale Street Music Festival in Memphis, Tennessee. And it like they closed the entire festival down. There was tens of thousands of people there screaming every word to every song they played. And they didn't mess around with the set list. They played a bunch of Blue, bunch of Green Album stuff. They even touched Pinkerton. They played covers. Like it was
Yeah.
they know how to put on a show. That is one thing I will never complain about with them. Their most recent output can be shit, whatever, but they know not to shove it down people's throats when they're playing a festival where there's like no diehard Weezer fans there.
It's
Yeah,
weird
that
how
makes
similar
sense.
like them and Green Day are now. Like their recent output's not great, but they still like put on like an amazing live show.
Great comparison. No, I've never seen Green Day, but Dookie's like one of very few albums I might like more than Pinkerton and Blue. But yeah, and it's the same thing. They never stop. They just constantly are making albums. I would say as far as their entire discography though, like Green Day did have American Idiot, which I guess sticks with the Broadway theme, right?
Yeah.
That we've
Does,
had.
yeah.
But
I never
that's
thought
like,
about that before. Wow.
I would argue that I might
did it
like
on
that
Broadway.
album more than Dookie, and like that's an absolute masterpiece in the second half of their career.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath on Weezer releasing a masterpiece in this leg of their career, unfortunately.
Never know. Never know. Maybe you just need to see these songs on Broadway. It'll be a masterpiece.
If I could somehow like get a press pass or something, I guess I would go.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying to see them on. If I didn't pay to see Springsteen on Broadway, I'm not paying to see Weezer on Broadway.
I think that's fair.
And that's another guy. The ticket prices were absolutely insane because I did win the lottery once to like have access to spend like $700 on tickets. I was like, oh great, I won the privilege of spending this much money. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. It's like, wow, you're gonna let me buy your tickets? Thank you.
And that's what I even bought tickets on Ticketmaster last week to see the National. And I had to like wait in a queue on Ticketmaster. It was one of the first times I've ever seen that. I had to log into Ticketmaster, join like a waiting queue or a waiting room. Then I got put in line and it tells me how many people are in front of it. Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
when did that become that difficult to just buy concert tickets?
Well, that's been going on for a while. And then you get to the front and it tells you an error occurred and you have to go all the way back.
I guess I lucked out, and a lot of shows I go to, it's like on the AXS app.
Yeah, that one's a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah, I guess I just haven't bought Ticketmaster tickets in a while, and I was like, what in God's name is this? Like
Not a fun
just
experience.
making it harder, and then you get to the end and it's like the ticket's actually 3 times as much
Yeah.
as I thought it was gonna be because of the fees and everything.
Pearl Jam was right.
Yeah.
Dude, absolutely. Another band I need to see that I've never seen.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we gotta do a list of bands we've never seen and then rank them and then shame ourselves for not seeing them. It's brutal. It's brutal. You go broke seeing all these bands, especially now. All the bands we grew up with are so big that it's not
Yeah.
just like $40 to like the local club venue. You're dropping 100 plus to get
Even like
Minimum.
bad seats.
Gaslight Anthem at PNC. It's like I saw them for like $15 once. And I guarantee
Yeah.
you that $15 show is going to be a million times better than what they do at PNC, which I'm probably still going to. But yeah, it's I guess we're just old now, and the bands we like just play bigger rooms and are in more demand. It's crazy.
Not the Menzingers though. We can still see them for affordable price in smaller venues.
Right.
On the flip side, though, like I wish they were more successful. I wish they
I
were
do
playing bigger
too.
rooms. I think they're one of the best bands of the past. Like they're one of my favorite bands of the past decade. So on the other end, yeah, I wish they were playing. I wish they could play PNC and sell it out and charge more because that'd be awesome for them. They'd be successful.
Yeah.
Could I have counted the Menzingers as an emo band?
Do I count them as an emo band?
Could I have counted them if I wanted to in that draft?
Yeah, Nick, off camera and before this, I was texting Brett because I
Oh,
saw
I
you guys
heard.
did an album draft, and I saw that he considered, or you guys let him draft the 59 on his emo. Just go on isthisbandemo.com. It's run by a guy who runs a record label.
I love that
Type
that
in
exists.
Gaslight Anthem, and it just says no. The Gaslight Anthem is not an emo band. Not that I needed that website to tell me they're not an emo band, but they're like Heartland,
I
like
can't believe this website
Springsteen,
exists.
Tom Petty cosplay. Like that's what they are. They're not emo.
What about Get Hurt
Or
though?
pop.
That's a pretty emo album.
There's a lot of words I would use to describe that album.
They don't even have the Menzingers on this website.
Really? They don't have the Menzingers on there?
It says Weezer is not an emo band. Well, I guess they have
Disappointing,
they have a emo
If
album.
you could specify era, they would.
Yeah.
I mean, Pinkerton is like the most
It
influential.
says
emo album
Weezer
of-
is not an emo band. Say it ain't so. This website is too fun.
Parker, you wanted to pitch us on an album draft in the future too?
I just want to be involved with one. I don't have any ideas. I could leave that up to you, and I'll let you know if it's in my wheelhouse. But it's such a cool idea. Yeah,
We had so much fun doing it. Like, I can't wait to do some more of them.
Yeah.
that one was emo and pop punk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although I cheated with Gaslight, but other than that,
No, you know what? I'll just say you have kind of a leg to stand on because I don't think it's emo music. Like, I think of emo, I don't even necessarily think of My Chemical Romance. I think of like Say Anything and Take It Back Sunday and Brand New and that, like the
Yeah.
borderline pop punk stuff. But Gaslight toured with a lot of those bands.
Jimmy World they
And
toured
like
with.
they're like in the same scene as those bands. Even though to me they're not an emo band, they get grouped in with them. Like all the bands from that era that are definitely emo, Gaslight gets grouped in with.
Emo by association.
Basically, yeah. But probably being from Jersey doesn't help because there's a lot of emo bands in New Jersey.
Parker, I'd love to have you on for like a 90s or like 90s alternative album draft.
That is definitely my strong. If there's one thing I might be more in my wheelhouse and knowledgeable about than specifically Weezer, it's that era of music. So for sure.
I think that's the perfect one for you.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Otherwise, I guess we'll see you in 87 days on the first day of fall.
Oh man, can we enjoy summer first, like the actual
Or
season,
autumn.
not the EP?
I want summer to end so we can get the next Weezer repay.
And this is the one that's going to be Strokes related or influenced by.
So they say.
I mean, huge Strokes fan, so I guess I'm gonna have to listen to it at least once for this. So hopefully it's better than these last. So even though I really didn't hate this summer one that much, hopefully they just keep getting better.
Yeah.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Either way, it's fun to talk about.
For sure, yeah,
And-
including all the tangents we go on. Yeah,
And I got to the end of this conversation liking the album way more. I don't know if I listen to it again if I'm gonna feel that way, but talking about it made me like it more.
I feel the
You-
same way.
you
I feel like there's
mentioning-
more thought put into it than I gave it credit for at first.
you mentioning the Broadway theme of all four of them. Yeah, it's kind of eye opening. Like you could absolutely see it now, and I'm kind of seeing it in a different light too. This specific EP.
Yeah, hopefully we
I check
can
out,
we can see it on YouTube eventually. Like,
Yep.
yeah, that what you're gonna say?
but I was
Brett?
just about to say, yep.
What, the Broadway shows?
yeah,
put it
I'd
on a
watch it on
DVD.
YouTube.
I'll buy it or stream it. I guess
DVD.
DVDs are.
I'd stream it, yeah. Get a VCR tape.
Yeah, although I
We're a
don't know.
90s
If, like,
band. Give me a VHS.
you guys think like streaming services are going to be battling over a Weezer Broadway production, like a
All right.
bidding war between Apple TV and Hulu for a live Weezer of a bunch of songs that only nerds like us know?
It'll be on like Vimeo.
Or they'll just put it up probably.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
will
Just put it on their
probably
own
put it
website.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, like charge like $5 on their site, or don't charge us, but
They'll charge.
either way, yeah, that's fine. with me.
Apparently, that's my theory of why they're still doing this all together. Is to charge us to do stuff. So
Well, Nick, this has been awesome. Thank you so much.
of course, I'll see you guys in how many days was it?
87.
Until
Well, I'll be back on here in 87 days. to talk
Can't
about
wait.
if it's called autumn or fall, I really don't know.
it's gonna be fall because they shoot for the lowest common denominator. Like autumn would actually sound like a little bit artsy. It's definitely gonna be fall.
Have they been saying winter or winter solstice? Because solstice gives me some artsy vibes. I don't know if that's a Brett original or if that's a Rivers original. But Brett,
Should have called them solstice instead of seasons.
is solstice. I don't even really know what solstice
Seasons,
means.
the way they stylize it is so cringeworthy.
SZNZ. This way
Yeah.
they can appeal to Gen Z.
Well played.
I saw a thing on the Rise Against subreddit because one of the songs, like on their new thing, it doesn't have any vowels in it. I forget what it's called. And someone's like, "Do you think they did that to appeal to the younger crowds?" Like, no, it was probably just what the demo was called, and they left it as
Didn't want to name it.
take out vowels. So
I feel like the first band to do that was Fall Out Boy with Thanks for the Memories.
Oh, that's
Just
right.
the no vowels.
Good call out there.
yeah,
But yeah, I hate how they stylize seasons.
just like the
Seasons.
seasons.
Yes, seasons. I don't hate the idea of just like to wrap it up in like big picture. It is a cool idea that if they're doing a Broadway thing, it has like a structured theme, and there's 4 of them, and it's about the seasons, whatever. And like Brett noted, because he actually paid more attention to the lyrics than me and Nick did, like the religious themes and the angel stuff. So yeah, I'm not fully out on this after listening to Summer. After Seasons, I was like, oh boy, this is all gonna suck. But I'm a little bit more optimistic after this conversation and doing homework for this conversation and listening to Summer a bunch today.
You know what we should do for the winter one? As like after we're done talking about winter, we should all sit here with a playlist of all of them and just let it play all the way through.
Listening party, the full year. What I didn't do for this one was walk around the block and listen, which I should have done. I did it for spring. You have to get. I should have been like sweating in 90-degree weather, listening to
Hey,
summer.
Mark's got on that.
Driving's the best way to listen to music.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's for sure.
But you have to feel the season. You could put the
You
windows.
had the windows down. That's why we're co-hosts.
Okay, we're back. Thanks to Parco for coming on. We're now going to deep dive into the recent R. Kelly case. No, I'm just kidding. He did get sentenced though, 30 years.
For something we know he did like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 45 people came out and like,
Yeah.
that's horrible. But at least he's getting punished now, finally. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that
No.
any more than we already have.
For documentaries that did a much better job than we ever could.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that documentary. I think I watched some of it and then I just like couldn't do it.
The tough watch.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it helped get him arrested, so or sent to prison. On a lighter note, Front Bottoms put out a new old song, More Than It Hurts You, from the Grandma EPs. Like, so what they've been doing is they have all these like old albums that were never like actually released, but if you know them, you know them kind of thing. And these songs are so good, so they've been redoing them and releasing them. So I think the next album's going to be called, is it Teresa?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like the cover is like him throwing a Nerf ball to his grandma, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's adorable. I love them. Did you listen to this? Does this count as a single or not?
I got my rule. I'm sorry.
Listen.
I gotta listen.
But have you listened to like My Grandma vs. Pneumonia, like the album that like started all this?
That one I like. Oh, so I probably do know the song then.
Yeah. This is staring at unfamiliar ceilings and I should leave because everyone here is tripping some new
Oh,
drugs.
so they
except for me.
redid that one.
Why? Because I don't have the money. And I've been thinking about cutting my hair short. I've been thinking about growing it long. I love them. I love
Was
them.
this the one that like Vinny was that the song that Vinny was hoping that they redid? Or what's the one that he really wants them to re-record? Remember we were talking about it at the show in
Yeah,
the fall.
I don't remember. But they have so many. It's funny, they released the track list actually, and I didn't recognize like a ton of them. So like, because they had Grandma vs. Pneumonia, Brothers Can't Be Friends, and then there was one other. So maybe maybe it was from that. Another one was called like The Wind, or something that seems kind of familiar. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm very excited. And they announced the tour with it, which is awesome. But it
But no
doesn't.
Jersey dates.
No Jersey dates. I mean, they gave us those Jersey City shows, so that might be why. Um, the closest is Wantagh, New York, and it's not Jones Beach because I think that's the same area. It's just like some like music hall that I never heard of. So I don't know. I'm not completely ruling it out, but I've been kind of trying to commit to less shows.
There are a lot this year.
Yeah, like August is just going to be off the wall. And like we're getting a puppy in 2 weeks. I don't know how we're going to like have a puppy and then go to all these concerts. Like I'm stressing out about it because me and Nicole are going to a lot of these together. And like, I don't know. Like, can't just like leave a like 8-week-old puppy home alone for like more than 2 hours.
It's true.
So I don't know. Her mom's gonna have to watch the
I was
puppy.
gonna say,
guess.
if I get some family help.
Yeah, yeah. But so I'm trying to dial back shows because I keep finding shows.
There's so many.
I was talking with a friend at work about like heavy music, so I was kind of going down that rabbit hole, like emo heavy music. And Sleeping with Sirens is on tour, and their first album to me is like one of those like
I haven't listened
flawless
to them in
albums.
so long.
I know it's them and like I think Point North, is that what they're called? You know
Did North Point?
North Point? Yeah, that might be it. Tomato, tomato. But yeah, it's just like a Thursday night in Manhattan, which is like that's like my favorite kind of show because I know I don't have anything to do on a Thursday night. I don't have to worry about like actual plans, but I have a puppy now, or will have a puppy.
You will have a
So
puppy soon.
yeah. But my cousin really liked that album. He's like never really been to like a rock concert, so I
Gotta
need
get
to.
him.
I know, but I can't. I can't. September we have Gaslight, and
That's
technically-
October, right?
Is that October? I forget. Technically, you still have the My Chem ticket. You still have claim to it at least.
When is that one again? That's September, right?
Yeah, that's like a Wednesday. Them in Midtown. Yeah.
Not
Oh.
not a hard no.
I'll remind
I'll
you
say.
what the price wound up being, and then it might be a hard no. But
Then that might be a hard no. Yeah.
I'll at least reach out to you first before I start shopping around.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. What other news? What other news for the week?
Before we jump off front bottoms, I have a question.
Oh,
Maybe you have
yeah.
the answer. Why are those 3 original albums not on streaming?
They did them like pre-record label, and it's just like Brian and Matt, and like they're like objectively bad, but that they're amazing and I love them. But like the quality is bad, the vocals are extremely raw. Like I think they're great. Like I still listen to Grandma vs. Pneumonia. It's on YouTube. Like
Yeah,
YouTube
it's
it.
really good.
Yeah, but it's definitely like rough. So maybe they're just doing these Grammy EPs and like that's it. Because I did get to interview him like years ago, and I asked him about it, and he said we have something in the works. We're going to do EPs with those songs. So, and that's what they've been doing. This is like the 3rd or 4th. There's been Rose, Anne, and
Well, Rose is probably my favorite.
yeah, Jim Bogart, and
That whole thing, because that was like the first time I saw them live. I think was when that came out.
Flying Model Rockets. That's another one. Like, and the way they redo them, not all of them. So like this one they put out this week is pretty much like note for note, tone for tone, the same song. But like Flying Model Rockets, he kind of like puts inflections in different spots on the newer one. So when you're really familiar with a song and you've listened to it that many times, you know exactly how it goes. And then all those slight differences like you pick up on. But I kind of like the changes the more I've had time to like listen to both. It just sounds a little more like flushed out, whatever.
And they've grown.
Yeah. Yeah. They're so good. I really want to see them. I don't want to go that far.
Be patient on that one. If like there might be a Starland show or something before the year's over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good call. We also have there's a new Shinedown album coming out tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow when this airs.
Expectations aren't very high for that one.
So I've kind of had this weird like conflicting thought with bands lately, and I need to talk this out with you. Bands that go too hard on promotion turn me away from their stuff. Is that fair? Because they're still a business and ultimately they want to get their stuff out there and make money. So is it fair of me to judge them this way?
Follow-up question, like too far in promotion in what way? Like what were they doing?
Well, it's just a lot of posts, a lot of hype, which I guess like you're hyped about your album, right? But I don't know. Today they announced like an app where like you aim it at the sky and it tells you like where planet zero is, and like I don't know, just put out the damn album. It's already
they don't
like
have to
2
be
months
doing that.
delayed because of vinyl. I don't know. It just comes off a little too like businessy for me. But these bands are business.
Yeah. I think like for like an up and coming band, if you want to do something like that, I get it. You're trying to get your name out there and get people to buy like your albums. For a band like Shinedown, though, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Or am I giving them like more credit than they deserve with how much I think they've earned in all these years as a band?
They're pretty huge. They just like I don't know, like they must have someone like running their Reddit page, because someone has just been posting like something in like the art of the album style with just the number of days till the album every day. So today one came up that said 2 on it. No one comments on it. No one discuss it. Doesn't invoke any discussion. Like, I don't know, just stupid. I can't imagine there's some fan who's like, I want to post this picture of how many days. I don't know, maybe. It just like kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. And with them, like I don't think I've liked an album since Amaryllis.
Uh
Or was Attention okay?
Was the last one Devil? Because that album was pretty good, I thought.
Oh yeah, actually no, Attention was okay. But I really, really didn't like Threat to Survival.
Attention had Bully and all that. No, Devil. Maybe the one you're talking about had Bully. Threat to Survival.
Amaryllis did, yeah. Threat to Survival,
Cut the
turned me
Cord.
off them for a while.
Cut the Cord was good. It's really the only one I like recognize looking at the track list. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
His first 3 albums I absolutely loved. Amaryllis I liked a lot. That Survival, I didn't listen to Shine Up for a long time after that one. And then Attention kind of reeled me back in a little bit.
They've gradually been transitioning from like almost like a Gaslight style like American rock band to like this like anthem band. Is that
Yeah,
that fair?
especially with their live shows.
Yeah, and they put on a great
They do
live
put on a great
show,
show.
but they do the same like spiel every time, which also kind of comes off insincere. I don't
We were
know.
doing the
It's
same
just,
thing 20 or 10 years later.
yeah, they just feel a little too much like a machine right now instead of just like a band who's having fun. The guitarist looks like he's having fun, but I don't know. I'm still gonna listen to the album, and like I like
Yeah.
the singles. Not that you would know.
Yep, and it's gonna be all new to me on Friday. So
That's pretty crazy because Planet Zero, the title track, I'll at least spoil this much for you, is pretty awesome. Like it's a pretty killer guitar riff. Like here,
as long as
just
there's
like
heavy guitar riffs in a Shinedown song, I'm probably gonna like it. I feel like Threat to Survival, like there was less of that than on earlier albums.
yeah. I'm not as familiar with that one as like you're right. So I probably just inherently didn't like it and forgot about it.
I mean, I'll probably have to revisit it now just to see if maybe it was just I was into different stuff at the time. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But like I'm on their Spotify page right now, and there's a whole section called merch, and it's just big pictures of vinyl that says on sale in giant red letters. Like, I don't know. Come on, guys. People want to buy your vinyl, like
They'll find it. Yeah.
just a little too much here for me. But they're a huge major rock band that probably employ tons of people. So good for them. I'd probably be doing a similar thing in their
Yeah.
position. So I can't judge too harshly, but just yeah, a little too much promotion. In other news, 2000s rock band Amberlin, we talked about them last week. They just signed with Equal Vision Records and will be making new music. They have a new EP coming out on July 29th called Silverline. Similar to the whole Shinedown thing I just went on, these guys made a whole big event of retiring, doing other stuff. One wrote a book. They had a final farewell tour, all these
You were there.
shows, all this merch. And then like not even like 5 years later, it's at least less than 10. They're just like, oh, we're making new music. And if you're a fan, you're psyched. But I don't know. Don't do a farewell tour if you're not sure it's farewell. Is that so much to ask?
I think that's fair.
Especially when you're as young as them. It's not like they're like I don't know, like Elton John or something, who's like, this is a farewell tour, and then a year goes by and he's like, I still feel pretty good. I guess I'll keep going. Like these guys were at no threat of stopping other than maybe they were bored. So I don't know. What's that all about, Amberlin? Come on. Did you just want to like sell a bunch of farewell merch that is now a lie?
And you went to, didn't you go to like 3 of the shows on the farewell tour?
Yeah, we went to back nights. They played like full albums, and then no, they played greatest hits, and then instead of an encore, they encored an entire album, which was pretty ridiculous.
That's like what Front Bottoms did when we saw them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, they're a great band. They put on great shows, and I like seeing them. The whole farewell tour is annoying, especially when like it was so short-lived. Like they were doing live streams during the pandemic where like you had to pay to watch, which again, these bands are businesses. You can't make money any other way during the pandemic. But like, did you call it quits or not? Like
which one is it?
You do a farewell tour and then you're asking people to buy virtual tickets. I don't know. Then it makes me think, are you making new music because you want to or because you want more paychecks?
It's a blurred line there, it seems.
Yeah.
Is
sounds
Nicole
like
excited at least?
Nicole's very excited. And I wouldn't say all this to her, so we'll see if she listens. Because I wouldn't want to like, what's it called? Yuck her yum. Like your favorite band's coming back and you're super excited. Like, good.
That should be a segment.
I want you to be. Yuck your yum. We just get super negative. Could have Goldie on for that segment. Every time I talk about a band to him, he just like shits on him. I asked, have you been watching this Sex Pistols show on Hulu?
No, you told me it's good though, so I have to start it.
I like it. I asked Goldie if he was watching it, and he goes, "Unfortunately, yes, that piece of crap show." Like just went on. Like, oh, I thought it was enjoyable. Apparently, it's just not very accurate, which I always take those shows with a grain of salt. But usually, if I like, what's it called when it's like a documentary, but not a mockumentary, but like a
rockumentary.
Ooh. It's not what I was going for, but I like it. No, I don't know. It's just like it's just a TV show that's like
or a
loosely based
docuseries.
on. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Usually if I enjoy that, then I'll like find the book because there's always like the book.
There's always a book behind the
So,
series.
I haven't even listened to a single Sex Pistols song since watching the show. They seem to me like a band that is more enjoyable if you were like in the era, in the scene when all this was going on. Because like they pretty actively talk about like not being good musicians. Like they were just trying to be like anarchists. So I don't know. I think it's really interesting, like hearing their whole story. And I don't even know what happened to them. I don't know who's dead, who's alive. So like I'm not even looking up history because like it'd be a spoiler.
The show should get into
Uh,
that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All of that, I should say.
Yeah. And then lastly, we have like kind of not great news, but Travis Barker was in the ER today.
I didn't see that. What
Yeah.
happened?
I don't know. Someone told me like maybe pancreatitis, but I don't think it's been confirmed. So like I don't even know
Was just getting his
what
appendix
the
out,
latest
probably.
is. Hopefully that's all it is, but like it just seemed like out of the blue. Here's a Yahoo article. 46-year-old drummer, sick, intense pain in his abdomen. Called 911, rushed to hospital. The sources have not heard what caused the pancreatitis. So it is pancreatitis. So here's the paragraph that says everything we know so far. He went to West Hills Hospital and Medical Center near Calabasas, California on Tuesday morning after an undisclosed health scare. He was rushed to a different hospital. According to the timeline, Travis tweeted, "God save me," while seeking treatment. That's really dramatic and scary. Like you don't want to hear one of your favorite artists
No.
tweet that out.
Is pancreatitis different than appendicitis? It's probably a dumb question, but
It's at least
I
a
guess
different
one's your
name.
pancreas, one's your appendix, or your
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm a rocker. Oh, boo.
Rocker making rockumentaries.
With wait, sorry, I got caught back in the article. It's just talking about his relationship to Kourtney Kardashian at this point. So that what the hell? It's just like literally just like they've been married this long. Like, what does that have to do with his health?
Just fill in space.
So I don't know what the latest is, but hopefully he's all right. It's I would think pancreatitis sounds like a pretty like routine thing, but I don't know. Not a doctor.
He's getting treatment, so hopefully he's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You had an idea for us for the pod.
I did.
A summer reading assignment. Can you fill me and the listeners in?
Of course. So remember how growing up we had summer reading to do for school? Like we had to like read like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 books and like do a report on it and like hand it to your teacher on the first day of school.
Yes.
So I was thinking summer would be a good time to do some summer listening for the podcast where we deep dive an artist we've never deep dived before. And then we report back on the podcast in September when school is back in session.
You're signing me a book report, Brett.
I was going to sign myself. I thought you were going to sign yourself on too.
Do you have an artist in mind?
I do.
All right. What are you thinking? Because I have no idea, but we'll see.
All right. So last week I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, 60 Songs That Explain the 90s, which is slowly turning into 90 Songs That Explain the 90s. But they did an episode on Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And it was a phenomenal episode. And he kept like pulling stuff from this book called Smash, which came out which is all about all the albums that came out in 1994, where like Green Day blew up and Bad Religion blew up and Offspring blew up. All those bands got big at that time. Kind of like Sellout, only it strictly stays in 94. And then he got into talking about Bad Religion. And then he talked about the drummer in Pup was the guest on that show. And then they were talking about Bad Religion again. So I was like, Bad Religion has toured with Rise Against. I've heard about them my entire life, but I've never really deep dove their discography. Like I know a handful of songs, but like there's this book out there. Bad Religion has a book. They're very political and have like really strong messages in their songs. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm on the short punk rock kick now, short song punk rock kick now. So why not deep dive Bad Religion this summer and report back in September?
Wow. I absolutely love that entire thought process. I thought this was going to
That was
start
where
with
it
you.
came from.
I thought from the beginning you were just going to say you're going to listen to The Offspring. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not really that creative. Pretty sure you'd probably do that already. I love that one, especially because, yeah, Rise Against credits them as like one of their biggest influences.
And they're pretty sure they were at the last Warped Tour we were at too. They've toured with The Offspring, and like I don't think I really like paid much attention during their sets, other than like their songs lasted like 2 minutes tops.
Yeah, I think Greg Graffin is like their main guy.
The Epitaph founder.
Yeah.
No, that's a different guy, I think.
Well, they're definitely on Epitaph or were. I don't know where they are now.
He was the guitarist that founded it.
Huh. Wow, even I just pulled up their Spotify bio and it's like 8 paragraphs.
They've been around a really, really long time.
That's a great one. I'm gonna think about this and come back next week with my choice because I wanna pick something good. I want to pick a band that I could buy a book on.
Yeah, Bad Religion has a book, so that's why I figured I'd combine the book, and then as they talk about each album, listen to that album along with the book.
Oh, it's great.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
I'm so jealous. I want to listen to Bad Religion. Can I listen to that too?
You make it a podcast assignment.
That's great. Yeah, then we can present to the class and I can learn all about Bad Religion through you.
Bad Religion 101.
Yeah, I'm gonna look around at some influences of my favorite bands and see where I wind up.
Might be the Sex Pistols.
It's possible.
I'm sure there's a book there too.
There's definitely a book, and I will definitely be reading it once I figure out how this story ends. I feel like there's going to be an OD, but that's not really a hot take or like an out there guess. I just learned about this dude Sid, who joined, and like I've heard the term Sid and Nancy like a gazillion times, but I don't know from what. I mean, I know it's from the Sex Pistols now, but I can't think of what I've heard it referenced in. But apparently
Eminem song, maybe.
Right, that's what I keep thinking, but I'm not sure. Maybe it is an Eminem song. But like this guy Sid's like barely in the band. Like he joined the band and he's like, I don't even know how to play bass. I mean, that's how I got in my first band. But like he just wanted to be a Sex Pistol. I don't know.
Wow. Hold on, I got your answer.
Ooh, it's not Eminem though.
It's not.
Do I know? Can I get a hint? Or do I not know?
You know, but I don't know how to give a hint to it.
Ooh. That's a hint in itself. It's lyrics though in a song.
Yep.
Well, I googled Sid and Nancy lyrics and Machine Gun Kelly came up, but I wouldn't know that.
Come My Lady.
What is? Oh, was that a hint?
That was a hint. Come My Lady.
Oh, the Limpest of Biscuits. Isn't that a Limp Bizkit song?
Not Limp Bizkit, but around that same time.
It's not Limp Bizkit. Crazy Town.
Yep. Butterfly.
I could have sworn this. I would have bet anything this was a Limp Bizkit song. Who the hell is this band?
They sound like Limp Bizkit.
All right, for my deep dive, I'll be doing Crazy Town.
I'm pretty sure the guy who was in the plane crash with Travis Barker was in Crazy Town.
Girl, it's me and you like Sid and Nancy. So sexy, almost evil. Talking about butterflies in my head. I don't know if this is what I was thinking of, but certainly possible. Yeah, I'll have something next week. I'll have a thesis prepared for you.
Deal.
Yeah.
I think I
Um,
actually made up the Travis Barker thing. I don't think he was in this band.
That's okay. No one fact checks us. Except Matt.
Matt does.
Thank you,
I'm
Matt.
glad he does though.
Yeah, we need Matt as our producer so he can fact check us in live time. Just be like, no, that's wrong.
He's like, that's not Limp Bizkit.
It is Limp Bizkit. Everyone else is wrong. Crazy Town is wrong. What do we got for next week? New Shine Down. Anything else?
New Camp Trash too. Their first full length.
Oh, trash. I remember listening to this EP, but that's all I remember. Is
And the
that there
song
was this
Bobby is
EP.
incredible.
Ooh, they have a couple singles out.
Haven't listened though.
No, me either.
You know me.
I've been dying to listen to these singles. No, I didn't even know this album was coming out, but I'm excited. Yeah, because I remember liking this EP. I completely forgot about this, but I definitely listened to it for like a week.
I can't believe it was last year. I thought it was like 2 years ago it came out.
Time means nothing anymore.
This is
Um,
very true.
All right, so we just have a couple albums next week. I'm definitely gonna go down a Soccer Mommy rabbit hole. And Parco off air recommended a bunch of albums to me, so I'd like to get into some of those too.
Some
what was the New Jersey band? Titus.
Titus Andronicus.
Yeah. The
Monitor.
Monitor. Yeah. Yeah, that one I've pulled up a few times, but I haven't hit play yet because we just haven't had the opportunity. So
Wait till you hear that first song.
I'm excited. You guys are really hyping it up though, so hope it doesn't disappoint. I'm sure it won't. Okay, cool. That's our show. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Nick. Good to be back after a short break and a long draft.
Yes, that sounds like an emo album. This is a short break and a long draft for everyone to listen to. All right, let's get out of here. All right, bye
Till next
everyone.
week.
We love you.